It's Friday and I have camp and I have a few minutes. I'm pretty much ready. I just have to type the instructions, which is a funny story. If you're my camp girls, close your ears. I type the instructions and they don't read them. So I'm not really sure why I type them. A couple of them read them, but not very many of them. In fact, they don't read them and they joke about it. But I've been doing camps for probably over 20 years. I've been a demonstrator for 23 years and I've been doing camps for about 20 years. 20 years, oh, maybe a long time ago they used to read the instructions, but nobody reads them. But I still type them. But it has the special at the top and it has the upcoming camp dates. So I type them. Creature of habit, I type them. Nobody reads them. It's a joke. Sometimes new girls read them because they feel like they have to. Maybe they think they're going to get in trouble. But I have one card left of the 6 that I hadn't filmed yet, so I thought if I did it before camp, then I wouldn't have to do it at the end. So first I'm going to show you, if you haven't caught all of the others, they all are up, but I'm going to whiz through what we're making. First, Bad Sun. It's finally sunny, and it's shining right on the cards. Here we go. This is the puzzle piece card. I don't have my catalog here. I don't know what it's called. It uses the embossing mat, which, get it up close. If you run the die through without the embossing mat, which is new, that piece right here, see where it's all those puzzle pieces kind of embossed in there, falls into a bunch of puzzle pieces. However many pieces those embossed in the back, those all become puzzle pieces. So there could be some fun things you would do with that, but for this one, we're going to use the embossing mat. So there is a video, and it's one of my fast ones. I'm going to do another project and use the mat and slow it down and talk you through it. That is a fast one. I get people who like the fast ones and people who like the slow ones. So I do a fast video and they're like, I didn't see what you did. I do a slow video and they're like, oh, I wanted to watch that and I don't have time, so I can't win. But this is a fast one, and I do have, the instructions are hard to see the way they come. This one is actually on my Facebook page today. This piece of it, this is a 2-part project. You make this piece that's on top here, and then this is the scrap paper that's behind it. So when you make this piece on top, this is the scrap, so it's a 2-piece card. And my special right now on Facebook, if you run over there, it's actually on my blog too, so you can see it in both places. But if you buy the Blended Seasons 3 stamp pads, whichever color you want, so the Blended Seasons stamp set, 3 colors of whatever stamp pad you want, classic pads, and some shimmery cardstock, which goes along with a couple of different projects. One is this, because this is shimmer cardstock here, and on another project I'm going to show you in a second. Then you get the aqua painters for free. It's a set of 2. This project uses the fat one, the fat aqua painter. You get a thin tipped and a fat tip. This one uses the thick, and the brush shows. And in a couple weeks on Facebook, the brush show are going to be my product of the week. I love the brush show. Great coloring medium. So this is actually colored, but there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. So this is a 2-in-1 project. We do 6, so this does count as 2 because they take time. This is the Blended Seasons, and I just did this one. This is also the aqua painter and some classic ink pads and the shimmering cardstock. So that was up there. And then this was my latest video. And this is a super quick card. And I did get lots of comments on that, and this was the way I did it on the video. My original card had the champagne and the sea mist, the sea foam swapped, and we decided we liked it that way, and everybody agreed with me. This is the way I did it on the video. And then this is the one I'm going to demo for you, but I switched it up. This is my original card, and this was the Garden Impressions DSP, but all of the cards were kind of bright, and I wanted to do this card. We haven't used this stamp set yet at camp. And this is colored with ink pads, but the watercolor pencils are on special this month, and none of my projects yet had used them. So I'm going to switch it up. We're going to color with the watercolor pencils instead of the stamp pads, so you'll be able to see kind of the difference. And then all the colors, the cards are kind of bright, So I'm going to tone it down a little bit. So I'll show you how I just switched it up. This was my inspiration because this was the card I wanted to do. So you can kind of see, if you maybe see a card like this online, maybe if you saw this on my website and you thought, well, I want to do that, but I want to switch it up. Here's how you could switch it up. So here's my card. And I do have this special. If you're watching this and it's still this week, you can run over to my Facebook page and get the special, or to my website. It's Sherry's Cards Facebook, and it's Stampin' online. My husband just brought my cappuccino up. Here he comes again. See, look, he's also my barista. He's my husband and my barista. So I'm going to take a sip of this while it's nice and hot. So I went from the Blueberry Bliss cardstock and I switched it to the Crumb Cake. So you can see that's already going to tone it down because all the cards were already bright. So I thought, go with one that's not quite so bright, and hopefully I brought all the right stuff over here. I'd already cut the cardstock and decided I had time to do this. This is vanilla. I'm going to use the, oh goodness, I don't remember what this is called. Oh, because the stamp sets are all put away where I'm going to clean my stamps after camp. And I don't remember what this is called. I will put it on the name of the video. This is just Memento. Ink this up. And currently on our Facebook page for demonstrators, there is a debate going on whether or not you can use Memento ink with the watercolor pencils. People are saying that you can't. I do all the time. So you're going to see in just a second that it works perfectly well. So that's all I need the Memento for. So I'm going to move that out of the way. All this needs to go back downstairs so my girls can use it in just a minute at camp. Then I've got the Blueberry Bushel. Open this up. Oh, what's the name of this stamp set? If I was doing this live, you guys could tell me. And I thought about doing it live, but I didn't have any kind of time to tell you that I was going to go live. So then I decided not to. It has a matching punch. It doesn't use the Big Shot, which I kept the Big Shot up here all day thinking, oh, if I have time to do this card. And then I realized I don't even need the Big Shot. And then it has some little sayings for the inside, because it's camp and we do the insides of cards at camp. It's got this little flourish at the top. And then the saying says, big ways, small ways, love you always. Here we go. So that's it for the stamping. This is a quick card. I can't, depending on how long the cards take, I have some quick ones and I have some not so quick ones. This has a little bit of coloring, so it takes it's a medium card. That's the coloring. Put that out. And it also has a little bit of cutting because, like I said, there's no Big Shot. So that's it for the punch. You can see my laptop laying here. I am gonna go live with my team girls, but I also did not give them any heads up because you just never know on camp day how things are gonna go. My daughter did stop by. She did a dentist appointment. So I pulled out the colors of pencils. This is the new pencils. I left the cart in here so the girls coming to camp can see what colors they get in the new ones. But this is a mix of the new set and the old set. But it's not all of either of them. But I wanted them to just be able to use the colors that I used. So I'm going to use some green on the leaves. Again, this is the Memento ink, and demonstrators are saying you can't use it with the watercolor pencils. I use it with the watercolor pencils. I use it with everything. Back when we used to have StazOn the first time around, I used StazOn a lot with everything, and then we got rid of it, and I just got out of the habit of using it. I still have StazOn, and I have the StazOn refill, but they all have to be refilled, and I just haven't gotten around to using them. And StazOn isn't great for your photopolymer, which, you know, if you're sitting at home and you can clean it, just clean it off as soon as you use your photopolymer. This is the Coastal Cabana. But sometimes at camp, I've never had my girls clean their stamps right away. If you're going, like if the next person's just going to use black, then we just leave it. This is Granny Apple Green. You know, I almost always use 2 colors on my watercolor pencils because it gives nice shading, and I press really hard. Gives lots of color. So because I don't have them clean, and because it's my choice, but we've bad habits at camp, I don't like to have this, I wouldn't want the StazOn to sit on my photopolymer, and I don't know that we've had StazOn really since we've had photopolymer. I don't know. So this is Daffodil Delight, and I'm just kind of putting it in the middle of my flowers here. And see, I'm pressing really hard, and I have the old Stampin' Up! Pencil sharpener that I will put out with this project at camp tonight, because I press hard, and I don't mind my girls pressing really hard because I want them to have lots of color. And so these pencils will be sharpened lots of times tonight and tomorrow when we use them at camp. I'm going to show you this before I watercolor with it. This is Melon Mambo. I'm going to press really hard in the middle of this. And you can see I'm not filling up any of the areas, but I am pressing really hard. This is Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to add it where the lines are of this flower. But the pencils are really one of the least expensive items that we even carry. So, I mean, I'm pressing as hard as I can, but you could sharpen these for years before you're going to use them up. And even if they break a tip and you have to, and then just add like 1 stripe of hard pressed red in the middle of this pink. That'll give it some shading. But you would be able to sharpen these. So use color, make it bright, vibrant. And if you get your $10 or $12, I think the new set of pencils maybe is like $12. If you get 3 years out of your $12 pencils, then you paid $4 a year. So don't feel like you have to baby them. So I'm pressing really hard with that. I'm going to go back and put some daffodil in the middle of this. That was maybe the blackberry, grape. And that's the only purple that we have. This is Night of Navy. And so in the Night of Navy, I'm just going to go on these stripes on these little blue flowers. There's not a lot of work to work with. And the navy can be overwhelming, so I'm just going to do like a little stripe on that. This is the Balmy Blue. And again, tiny little flowers, so I'm just, don't need to press quite as hard on those. Just kind of fill that up. This is the Crushed Curry. And again on the lines. On a lot of our designs, the shading is kind of done for you. Like if you don't know where to shade, just kind of go with where the artist gave you the lines. This is Cajun Craze. Kind of go around the lines on that one. This is Calypso Coral. I'm going to put it in the middle of the flower. I'm pressing really hard with that because I want it to pull a little bit of the orange out. And then this is, did I have Bermuda Bay twice? I do have 2 sets. No, I don't. I feel like I already colored with it. Maybe I put it over there. Put it back on this. Okay. Then I'm going to take my blender pen. Make sure it's clean. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which on this will be yellow. Oh, I'm going to hold it up for you to see first. So you can see it's got some good color on there already. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Okay, and I don't want any of this to be filled with color. You want to leave some white. So just kind of smudge it around. I'm not going to go all the way to the edges, because if you fill it all the way up, then you kind of just defeated the purpose of leaving some white space there. Then I'm going to go to the next like color, which from this flower here would be this one over here. So I'm just going to kind of pull from the lines. So it kind of, because these all have two colors for the most part, I think I put two on most of them. So first kind of pull that so it kind of mixes them. And then very lightly, just kind of dab to the edges. And again, leave some white. And do each petal, so each petal kind of keeps its own shape. That's going to get my hello on the top of it. Kind of see what I'm doing there. So next light color is going to be this tiny little yellow in the middle, and it just kind of needs to be blended. Get that off of there. And you can see it, because I use so much lead, sometimes it like picks up a piece of lead, so it's really important to have all this scrap. I don't really have to be working on that. So now I'm going to go to this pink over here and get my middle. Again, I'm going to leave some white, and then the same thing, I'm going to pull first with my lines here. And you can see on this flower it has whole petals that I didn't even get. So this time I'm going to do my lines with, I'm doing it upside down so my other card is likely to look better. And now I'm going to take, and with what's left on my blender pen, I'm going to get these back or tops, because on these it's going to be just a little bit of the tops. So the tips have a little bit of pink, and the back petals that didn't get anything, the longer I go with it, the lighter. It's like doing the cleaning of the blender pen for me, what I was doing up here. So it gets a little bit lighter and lighter pink. And I'm going to come up here and just ever so slightly pull that into it, because you don't want it to look like you just stopped coloring, but I don't want the whole thing to be. And turn it around a second so I can kind of see what my flower looks like, not upside down. There's a whole petal I missed, because when you're doing it upside down, it doesn't look quite right. There, I'm going to show you. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to move to purple. By going to the next most similar color, like if there would be a tiny bit of lead left of pink and it mixed with the purple, it wouldn't be so horrible. But if you went from the orange to the purple and then there's a little bit, then it's going to turn brown and it's not going to be pretty. So always just move to the next closest color. Or you can, if you're using your own blender pen, not if you're at my camp and you're using my blender pen, because I'd rather you not waste all of my fluid. But if you're at home, feel free to sit here and squidge out all of your fluid. But I'm trying to get you to, you know, some people won't use up all of the lead in their colored pencils, but they'll use up all of the fluid in their blender pen. And the blender pens are more expensive than the watercolor pencils. So by just moving from light color to light color, then you don't waste as much fluid in your blender pen. So see, now I've gone from blue to green, so I just barely get that off, and if there'd be a tiny tip of blue in here, then mixing with the green, it's not really going to matter, because it's a like enough color, and especially because I use some Bermuda Bay, which is kind of, you know, it's one of those colors that sometimes we're like, is it green? Is it blue? What is Bermuda Bay? What is Pool Party? You know, some of them we're not quite sure what color they are. They kind of look like what you put them with. Again, I'm coloring upside down. Sometimes upside down you would think it's not any different, but I can't tell if I got it all. I think I did. And then I always try to remember at the end, just kind of smudge that off, because otherwise the first time you pick it up, I'm going to put my scissors. If you don't check, then sometimes you've got, so on this I am going to be putting it, you know how I had it on that Garden Impressions paper. I've switched my DSP this time around, as you can probably tell from my crumb cake. So I'm going to cut this out. Let's get it smaller to work with first. And because I want more of my pretty paper to show than this vanilla. Vanilla is an okay color, but we want the DSP to show. So when you cut, if you're going to fussy cut, hold your paper and move your scissors. It's an easier way to cut. So hold your paper still, and then just move your scissors. And try to avoid what I just did, which is the pointies. The pointies don't look good. The rounded corners look way better. You might be able to hear my husband. He's, you know, we've been empty-ish nesters for a while. My daughter comes, my daughter goes. But she's always had what we've called the West Wing, and then she went to college, and she played golf, and we live on the west side, and she went to school that was close to here, and so her nickname was Westy. So it was appropriate that we'd always called her wing of the house the West Wing, and she's still had the West Wing, and I'm ready to have the West Wing be my wing. So my husband, I don't know if you can hear him, he's scraping the walls that are adjacent to my office, and it's going to become more of my office. So some of the stuff that stacks up in here will be able to be moved over there. So there. There's that. I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals. Ah, look. I'm trying so hard to put these in there so I don't have these things everywhere. I just did dump a giant thing of those out. I'm going to do this right side up so it's not crooked. See, that would have been crooked. Isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty. Okay, and then I've got the wood. I love this wood stuff. And then, you know, it's always that side, that side, that side, that side. And you think you make a decision, and then you get ready to use it, and then you get ready to tape it, and you're like, oh, no, I like the other side because you tape on it. And then this is, we used it at my camp last month, and I used it with the Promenade paper, which is gorgeous and very floral and very feminine. And then this time I'm matching it up with something that's not quite so feminine. It's very country, it's very fixer-upper, it's very rustic. So this time I'm going to match it with some paper. This, because when you use it at camp, if you're a demonstrator, you know this, you know, you get these packets of stuff that's, there's not a whole lot of, you have to kind of make it work with the assortment that you get in a pack. So this is a leftover piece from what we used last time. This time we're using a different pattern. So to make it work, I have to use this on this, but it's not what they're using at camp tonight. I'll show you on the project. So I just have some random places where I have stuck the adhesive, but it works that way because it grabs enough of it that it will work. Then you can see that I have the copper thread. And then with this piece, you don't have to do it on the piece I used before, but I'm going to pick the prettiest. And because this, we didn't use it last time because this piece kind of stuck. I fixed it though. It kind of, it pulled up on, and it was bent, but it's been sitting under some heavy stuff, so it kind of flattened itself back out, but I didn't want anybody to have one that was bent. There, fix that. I'm going to take this. This has a needle in it from another project we've done. We don't need it this time, so I'm going to take it out. I used up another spool when I made the sample. I'm going to do a couple of big loops. Always go bigger on this than what you need. What you think you need, because when you get it on your card, if you don't go big, then it's all hidden under your design. So I have a big loop of it. I'm going to cut it, and it always looks a hot mess. I'm going to lay it down and stick it. So most of it, so some of it sticks down here in the snail. Just like that. See that piece? It still is kind of. That's why nobody got it last time. It was laying flat, but because it got bent, this stuff grabs. You have to be super careful. It comes with tissue, and what I did when I got ready for this camp, I just went ahead and cut it all apart, and then I put all the pieces and wrapped them up in tissue, smaller. So if you get it, see up close, it's all stuck here. And now I'm going to take this. I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive on the back of this, and then this will sandwich it together. Just down in that corner. Make sure I put some of my sayings going in the right direction. How many times have we all stuck the front of the card, and then you open up your saying and it's upside down or on what will be the opening of the card. There you go. So it gave it a totally different look. Same exact concept, but just so I didn't have so many pink and bright cards at camp. I just kind of countryed this one up. Here is the paper they're using tonight. So it's the same thing, but I had lots of this because we used this last time, so I needed more of this for tonight and tomorrow. So it gives you two different looks. And then I did want to show you this one right here. I colored with stamp pads and a blender pen, and then this one is the watercolor pencils. This is a more, in real life, it has more of a chalky look. So, same overall effect, but you would have to buy at $7.50 each to get all of those colors. That's a much more expensive way to get, if you're a new stamper. If you're like some of us and you have all of them anyways, it doesn't matter. But this way you can just get the watercolor pencils and be good to go. So I hope you like that. It'll be on my, I'm going to try to get this up. I'm going to try to download it because that way I won't be texting or getting texts while they're at camp tonight. So hopefully this will be on my website. If you want the free aqua painters, head over to my website and you can get those. On Monday, go to my Facebook page, especially if you're a demonstrator. Me and my girlfriends, who we've been demonstrators since the the mid-90s, the two of them, late 90s. So we've been demonstrators since last century. We've been doing this since another century. But we are going to give you some tips on how to do a shoebox swap, how to participate in swaps, and then what to do with all of the swaps after you're done swapping. So if you're going to Orlando, or if you're in my group, we're getting ready to have a shoebox swap in September. So we're going to talk all things swaps. And then we're also going to tell you about some new things that we have coming up on the horizon. So have a great weekend. Bye.